Hi everyone, my name is Erika Goguen, and this is my final data report. I focused on rates of primary cancers by sex and type. And you can kind of go through the raw data on here. They have quite a bit of information through these various tabs. So it is quite a large raw data set. So I kind of played around with some of the different filters and tested out some of the different um, yeah, test out some of the different filters and imported them into Excel worksheets and tried to work through that a little bit. After I picked what I wanted to do for the final data report, I saved my information as a XLSX file and then imported it into my into Excel. And it gave me this raw data sheet with all of this information, and there's a bunch of footnotes and stuff at the bottom. And then to clean it up, I kind of imported each of the information onto their own slices. And I knew I wanted to do two different charts, one for male, one for female, um, focusing on the top 10 most common cancer types by per rate per 100,000 people. So I imported the raw data into each slice, cleaned it up a bit by taking away all the extra information, like the footnotes and everything. I'm cleaning up some of the columns as well. And then I sorted it over here from the rates for males and females, from highest to lowest in the male rate per 100,000, and then took away anything past the top 10. And then I imported these slices into Data Wrapper to make my final charts. So I kind of started off here with focusing on just because the data set on Statistics Canada is such a large data set, I kind of reduced some of the areas here and there to try and find a more digestible way to work through some of the data. So I picked the top five most common abdominal cancer types just to test that out for males and females, and then playing with the age range as well. So I found this chart type, which is kind of confusing. It's quite a bit of numbers everywhere, and it's kind of a lot of information. And then I kind of played around with different chart types in that way. So if I have this line chart showing that colon cancer is the most common type, but then I kind of did this weird things with all the numbers at the bottom being males instead, or I don't know, I just kind of did this whole weird thing. And I also played around with the age ranges. I kind of left that idea though because cancer it does become more common as you age, so it's not a very interesting finding. And so I kind of ditched that and went more into looking at locations, so like provinces and territories. So seeing that oh, colon cancer is the most common in every single province was also interesting. Well, it was a little bit more interesting, but not the most interesting. This chart again is kind of really a lot to take in, so I kind of played around with different ways to show that information, potentially a bar chart like this. This also is kind of unnecessarily more complicated, so I simplified it to just look at colon cancer. And then I found that, oh, the Maritime provinces or East Coast area of Canada has the most high colon cancer rates. And so I thought that that might be interesting or something that I would want to follow. And then I kind of got the feedback of why would you focus on colon cancer? Is it the most common cancer type, or is it just a random cancer type that you picked? And then I kind of realized that I guess I didn't really look at all the cancer types and see which one is the most common in the whole data set. So I looked at that afterwards. I made a top 10 list. I filtered through the data and made a new list looking at the top 10 most common, and it gave me that lung was the most common cancer type. And then from here, I kind of saw that there was kind of two pathways I could look into, pathways of interest. Either I could look further into the most common type, which is lung cancer, perhaps by location or sex or whatnot. Or I could look at why are breast and prostate cancer also so high in the chart as opposed to colon, urinary bladder, like all the rest is quite a bit less than the top three. So I tested out both of them. I looked at the lung cancer, and I found that it was most common in the East Coast Canada. And then maybe I could do some research on that. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I also wanted to check out the other road, which was what I ended up going with, which was focusing on prostate and breast cancer and finding the link between the two of them and why they were so high. I ended up separating the sexes because prostate cancer is unique to men and breast cancer is most common in women. So I thought that that might give for a more comprehensive look at the cancer types. But yeah, that was kind of my overall process for the project.